guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're making pangoccioli, and those are some sweet small bun with chocolate chips that are super delicious. In Italy they're very popular and you can find them in a lot of bakeries. So without any further ado, let's begin. Start by putting the chocolate chips in the freezer. Then I prepare the so-called water roux, which is made by heating up some water, but instead I used milk and flour for about 5 minutes until it becomes a thick paste, and then you can let it cool down to room temperature. Basically, water roux is used to make baked goods softer and fluffier, and it will also increase their shelf life so that the buns will stay softer for longer. Meanwhile, in a bowl I mix the yeast with milk and a tablespoon of honey. Also throw in the water roux that we prepared earlier, the sugar, 1 egg, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract that always goes so well in this type of preparations. Whisk up everything. At this point I add 1/3 of the flour. I used all-purpose flour and I whisk it up until there is no clumps. Now I add in another 1/3, but this time I mix it with a spoon because now it's not liquid enough to mix it with the whisk. So just like I did in the brioche recipe, we complete making the dough in the counter. So I pour the remaining amount of the flour and I pour in the dough. Add in the cubes of soft butter and close up the dough. It may seem like a lot of flour, but it will get absorbed really quickly. Add in the chocolate chips that I took out from the freezer, and they're nice and cold so that they won't melt into the dough as easily when we're kneading it. Keep folding the dough onto itself until all the flour in the counter is well incorporated. Eventually the dough will become really sticky and a little bit hard to work with it, but no worries. To solve this problem, pause kneading the dough for 10 to 15 minutes. And once you go back at it, it's way easier to work with it again, but you need to move quick. The quicker you move, the less it will stick to your hands. I just do the last few folds just like this, and I put the dough back in the bowl and I cover it with some plastic wrap. Alright, now we patiently wait until it rises in volume, about 2 hours or so. Preferably let it rest in the oven off with the light on, because this is the perfect environment for the dough to rise. 2 hours later, the dough is doubled in volume. In a lightly floured counter, pour it out of the bowl and close it up in half. I added some more chocolate chip because I forgot to add them all earlier. Now that the dough is shaped into a sausage, divide it into parts of the same size so that they bake for the same amount of time. I even used a scale, but obviously that's not required, and I made 10 buns of 60 grams each. I give them a round shape. I fold it up onto itself like this, and then I turn it and close it up on the other side too. Then I roll it into the counter just like this for a couple of times until it's round and smooth. And here's the first one. I made them of this small size, but you can make them of whatever size you prefer. I'll show you again. So just close it onto one side and on the other, and then roll it into the counter. And here it is. I place them in a pan with parchment paper apart from each other. I cover them with a clean cloth and I let them rest for another hour, always in the oven off with the light on. After that extra hour of rest, the buns look bigger and ready to be baked. But first, I beat an egg with a splash of milk, about a tablespoon, and I brush it on top of the buns with a brush, or if you don't have it, use a fork. Bake the pangoccioli in a preheated oven at 350 Fahrenheit for 15 to 20 minutes. And they're ready! These pangoccioli look just like the one I eat from the Italian bakery. They're the softest chocolate chip buns. I'm very satisfied. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please leave it a big thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe because I post new weekly recipes. So stay tuned. Bye guys!